The farmers, scientists, freedom fighters, politicians, and even U.S. Health Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. have all taken a stand in one way or another to apply pressure on the Canadian Food Inspection Agency to end their kill mission to cull nearly 400 healthy ostriches in Edgewood, British Columbia. But now, perhaps the one person the CFIA isn't expecting to speak out is here at Universal Ostrich Farms to do just that. It's the previously unnamed 13-year-old Fraser Valley teen who was used as the poster child for being the first to be declared infected with H5N1 avian flu that is a human. She's come all the way here, the 7-hour drive, with her family to stand in solidarity with the farmers here at Universal Ostrich Farms and to stand up for the ostriches. After all, if she wasn't called and is healthy now, why should they be?
I felt that it was wrong to use me, per se, as the example of why they should be killed. And considering I'm not near them on an everyday basis, they should still be able to live.
What do you want the CFIA to do now?
Let them live. They don't deserve to die. They didn't do anything.
Drea Humphrey with Rebel News, and right behind me is the end scene of a press release that just took place on the farm beside the farmhouse where I have been embedded for too many days to count. I managed to get a shower in there. But enough about me. We are here to show you what's going down in the story of great overreach, threat to farming, threat to the foods you want on your table, threat to freedom and integrity of science, as these birds are not just healthy, they are part of a crucial groundbreaking partnership where their robust antibodies were being used to find a way to neutralize COVID-19 and the very virus the CFIA has been using as an excuse to cull nearly 9 million birds in British Columbia alone since 2022. Her name, which is being voiced now with her claims that she no longer wants to be the poster child for excusing such a slaughter for going forward, is Jocelyn. Here's her and her family.
Hi. She says hello as well. The news media mentioned the 13-year-old or teenage girl, and in the news media after a press release regarding the ostrich farm. We talked as a whole family, and we were like, you know what? This is completely wrong, and we shouldn't be killing healthy birds, especially when they're for research. They're using my daughter's blood for research as well, through the research of the biobank, through Children's Hospital, and in, I believe it's Toronto.
The biggest thing that sticks out with us is the news, and certain media outlets like to throw in the 13-year-old child at the end of whatever they're trying to talk about for like any kind of virus type things. We actually didn't know anything about this up until about a week and a half ago, when on the news I was listening, and they, at the very end, it was they're wanting to call the animals, and then they brought my daughter into the situation by saying, due to this person having H5N1, they feel that to protect everybody, that's what they're going to do. And the fact that they brought my daughter, who had nothing to do with this to start with, into the situation is part of why we decided to reach out and get involved ourselves.
So even though your daughter has not been named publicly, you think that she's being used to further somebody's agenda?
Yeah, that is honestly, since everything started in November, her age was all over. The news picked up on the report really fast, and then it kind of calmed down. And then as soon as they have an agenda to do something other than properly test and say the animals are not infected, all of a sudden they're bringing her up. And we don't like that. That's not appropriate in any way. If you want to bring my daughter into it, then she needs to have the say to say no, we're not doing it. You guys can't bring her in and expect her not to have a say in stopping what they're doing.
Okay.
You
Now-
mentioned that Jocelyn's being tested,
Yes.
assuming for antibodies.
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
So what do you make of the Canadian Food Inspection Agency not doing the same for the ostriches, which is the number one ask of these farmers?
They're not doing their due diligence. Just like in any field of work, if you have to do tests for something to make an accurate assumption or an accurate case, you need to do testing up until the point of this is now we have to do, not test and then wait 6 months and we're going to go ahead and do this even though they're all healthy now. That's just
And
like
they've been
her
healthy
getting
since
sick.
January 14th?
Yeah.
They've been healthy? So, yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're-
just like at work. If I do a quote for somebody, 6 months down the road, the quote's going to change because our quotes say 30 days, not, well, I did a quote 6 months ago, so you have to honor it. That's pretty much what they're doing here is we did a test however many months ago. Now we're going to step in and start doing this. If they would have done it right at the point they did the test and they had to do it then, that's a different story. But they wait 6 months and there's no signs of any of the birds being sick. Every one of those birds should be tested. And if one comes out, they should seclude that one and wait the time frame. Like they say it was like a 20-day incubation period for a human to get it. They gave us stipulations of how she could have got it, what happens, and how long it can be in the environment without being in a host.
So
If-
this is,
Yep.
sorry, this is a vote of confidence in the farm, or I don't know, use your words. You wouldn't bring Jocelyn down here if you thought there was a risk.
No, it's we talked about it as a family.
We don't
and
think there's any risk at all.
No, if I felt that she could get sick again in any way, there would be no way we'd be down here.
And where you got this virus,
We still don't know.
They-
We tested the sick dog that we had, the puppy, who had anemia and seizures. They could not confirm or deny any results from it. If she got it from that, we got this Canadian the
CFIA?
CFIA and CDC had taken tests of our foods. I thought it was from me cooking undercooked chicken. Dad thought it was from him traveling. And, she went on a nature walk with her school and nothing.
Also,
What was
Urban
the
Safari I thought I brought it from.
Yes, and we also mentioned Urban Safari Rescue Society, which our oldest daughter Desiree was volunteering there.
What was the dog ill with, and has an autopsy been done on that dog?
The autopsy was done, and it had inflammation in the brain, and it had multiple seizures.
Can you
Did
give
that
us a
sound
little
like
bit?
bird flu at all?
No.
Can you give us a little bit more details of when you were caring for the dog in relation to when Jocelyn got
October
sick?
26th is when we had gotten the dog and the puppy, and it was put down November 9th, I believe.
Yeah.
And we
When we
allowed it.
yeah, when we took on the dog itself, we were asked by rescue to take it because it was having seizures and the owner couldn't take it anymore. She was having a hard time managing the dog in her household. We took it on. We were told by the vet, oh yeah, it's only seizures, it's this. They gave medications, they did everything they could. We handed it over to the CDC at the time. They wanted to just double check everything, make sure there was no issues. They found that there was an issue with his brain, and they said at that point, because of the seizures and his inflammation on the brain, that's why they had put it down.
And
Before we go ahead.
just to be clear, how many days, when did the dog die in relation to Jocelyn being hospitalized?
Jocelyn started to feel sick on her birthday, which was November 2nd.
Okay.
And that
Halloween night.
Halloween night / the next day. But it was starting to really start effect on her birthday, which was November 2nd. And then I took her to the hospital on the 4th. And that's when she had a double eye infection confirmed. And then they said nothing else, sent us home, and we were told Tylenol and Advil will be your best friend. Well, from the 4th to the 7th, she got worse. And the 7th, I took her back to the hospital, and then because of her oxygen levels, she was having difficulty breathing. Her lips were blue afterwards, and she was admitted into hospital and then later transferred to Children's Hospital.
You wanted to thank the
Yes.
teams, right?
Yes.
Before we forget.
I wanted to thank all of the staff at BC Children's Hospital for all your hard work and saving our daughter. It's
Her as they call it, the staffing team was roughly between 60 and 75
or more.
or more. At any given time, she had 2 nurses in the room, 2 outside. They had people on standby. There was
To
staff
help her.
in her room 24/7. Anytime we needed something, we had meals. The hospital would bring the meals into our room for us.
Because
we
we were
weren't allowed
isolated.
Yeah, we were quarantined in the room for a month. The whole time she was in the hospital in ICU, we weren't allowed to leave the rooms. We were provided shower stall in the same area we were in. Anytime we needed food or something, they would have food brought to us, clothes, we had to have somebody bring it to the hospital. They would meet them in the foyer, bring it up to our rooms.
Can we try and get Jocelyn to say something?
Yeah.
And we're going to put the mics close, so we'll probably be able to hear you. But what went through your mind when you heard that your case was being used as an argument to cull these ostriches?
I felt that it was wrong to use me per se as the example of why they should be killed. And considering I'm not near them on an everyday basis, they should still be able to live.
What do you want the CFIA to do now?
Let them live. They don't deserve to die. They didn't do anything.
International attention. The latest, I guess, is the RFK Jr. has stepped up and once again talked about culling, and I think he said it wasn't necessary. Have you read that? Do you know about that?
I don't think I've read it yet.
Okay.
What is your opinion of what should be done as far as culling and the research, the antibody research? As someone who's lived through this, what do you think they need to explore more?
Do more research about it. Let the ostriches live so that research can be done.
Whose idea was it to come down here?
Mine.
And didn't you guys say that you're doing some studies in Toronto for your antibodies? And there's
Through the biobank.
so science is starting to speak about natural immunity in the country. That's beautiful.
Is there anything that you wanted to ask you that we forgot? Like,
Yeah.
like saying thanks. Oh, there is something we forgot?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, thanks
I think our biggest thing is just like humanity, everybody should have the same chance. These animals need to be retested, not just take a test and say that's all you're doing is one test and we're going to base it off that. While she was in the hospital, Megan, myself, Desiree, and Jocelyn had every other day we had to have the test done.
Until
They were
it
taking-
was negative.
Yeah, she couldn't come off her meds. She couldn't come off the machines until they showed complete negativity on all her tests.
And was that PCR testing, are you aware?
Yes.
That was PCR testing. They did blood tests. They did, there's, I think, 3 tests altogether they were doing because they did oxygen. So they took a swab from her throat through the ventilator. They did the PCR test, and then they also did the blood test to verify. They did multiple tests to verify the same conclusion. They should be doing the same thing here.
Did you guys ever ask for a second opinion? Because that's what is always people always say you should get a second opinion.
We were approached by a company in the UK that offered, if the government would pay for it, they offered to do the test as a secondary test. And we had them do it, and they did confirm without the government having any say. They paid for it, but they didn't get a say as to what they did. And they did do a confirmation that, yes, this was the H5N1.
So you suspect the puppy may be a source, but what were the doctors telling you that they can't say publicly, that they might have said privately to you guys? Is there anything that you can share?
We were actually told that the virus strain that she had was from geese, and it was a strain that they found in Edmonton. So my question to the CFIA would be, if she got it from geese in Edmonton, why are you not in all over Canada rounding up every single goose and culling them instead?
And you haven't been allowed to.
No,
Because-
I'd like to,
because-
if they come here, I'd like to ask them why that is.
Because they don't call.
Do
they
you
don't
recall
call
being
wild.
around geese at all? Was she around geese? No.
No.
At what point the antibodies were tested?
Throughout,
And when
and
did it
also
start?
throughout her hospital stay, and also not even a month ago,
Okay.
we did blood work and it for the research for the biobank.
Is it always done at Children's Hospital?
Yes.
What would you like to say to Prime Minister Mark Carney, as his Minister of Agriculture has been silent on this issue?
It's time for them to step up and actually take care of the Canadian families, not just the ones that are paying their bills, but the ones that are actually out here struggling to make it work.
Mm.
Our healthcare, we hear it's one of the best in the world, but yet we struggled to get her medication. They
Still do.
at a certain point, we couldn't take her home until they agreed to take care of her meds. She's had seizures. We've had to have her on seizure meds. We have rescue meds that one of us has to have on us at all times while we're gone. She has a set in her bag for at school. We've had to have people specially trained to take care of her meds. We have never asked for help. Our
Our
family
pride.
helps us the best we can, and we make it work.
We struggled for the 2 months that she was in the hospital.
Yeah, we've learned that you can't rely on anybody, and the people you can rely on will be there just out of the blue for you.
As you guys are here for us, and we thank you.
And we
You're
want to
more
thank
than
you
welcome.
and whoever else donated to help us get up here, and for the hotel that you guys
Absolutely.
surprised
We need
us.
somewhere to sleep. We're in the middle of nowhere. Well, thank you guys very
So-
much.
Yeah, thanks very much. Katie, did you want to talk here on this tailgate?
On this tailgate.
I got one more
okay,
small
go
question.
ahead.
How is your health? Like, how are you doing after all this you've been through? Like, how are you feeling?
I've been okay. Still struggles when I get sick, obviously. Since whenever I do get sick, it's either I have trouble swallowing, breathing, or even just talking.
Your voice is very low. Is that because of the virus or because of the ventilator or what?
It's the ventilator.
The ENT at Children's Hospital believes it's either ECMO that she was on, or from her pulling out the ventilator on November 24th.
What is ECMO?
ECMO is
It's
a
where-
Is it a
machine
drug?
No,
that
they filter your
the-
blood.
Oh,
It
okay.
filters the blood and it helps with the heart and the lungs. There was 2 large cannulas in her neck.
Oh, okay.
They had 2 that went into her neck, and then they had 1 that went into her groin. And she had multiple tubes coming out of pretty much everywhere. They had her hooked up to the ECMO dialysis machines. They had the ventilator. They did blood transfusions. They did plasma transfusions.
And,
we know of at least 3 times that she had coded on us. In their report, it's upwards of 15.
That she
So-
passed away and came back.
Yeah,
And coded means her heart stopped?
Coded,
Like,
meaning
dead.
she died
and they brought her back to
times.
life.
Oh, you guys have been
Is there any way the Canadian people, our First Nations people are here with us as well, could we pray for you? Can we send prayers out to you? Is that okay?
Yes, of course. On my side of the family, we're part Cherokee.
Oh, beautiful.
So we'll be grateful for a prayer.
Well, we're going to pass tobacco for you in our ceremony tomorrow morning.
Perfect.
If you guys are here,
Yes,
you're welcome to sit in that ceremony, and we'll send a big prayer out to the world for you, okay?
perfect. Thank you
And
so
there's
much.
nothing it's not about me. This moment is about you guys. Your journey here and you wanting to be here to save the ostriches. And so I just thank you again from our farm and our family and all those ostriches out there. Thank you for being here to talk.
You're welcome.
We will do a more detailed press conference at a later date regarding Jocelyn's health.
Yeah.
And
In
last
Vancouver.
question for you, Jocelyn. It's not easy to come out here, especially at your age, have cameras in your face and talk about this. Where do you get the bravery to do so? Where do you think it comes from?
Probably both my parents.
There you go. And there was somebody that was just on a live that said, give you a hug from me. So I'm going to give you a big hug for that person and from us. But yeah.
I'd like to give you a hug, too.
Thank you so much.
You're such a brave young woman. Good work.
Thank you.
At Rebel News, we don't back down from bringing you the other side of the story. And so often when it involves government overreach, the agencies that you would think would be here, or the activists, such as human rights activists, are nowhere to be found. But we are here with our boots on the ground to the point that I am camping here to expose whatever the CFIA does if they do go through with their call order, or if the pushback from the public and politicians is successful and the CFIA back down. If you want to be a part of making that happen, go to our special website called SaveTheOstriches.com. Take part in our one-click email that sends a letter respectively demanding that they do so and let these research birds live on. And that's also where you can chip in to help cover our costs to be here, to be your eyes and ears on the ground.